Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're attempting something seriously ambitious. We're deconstructing the anatomy of a pure spectacle. And I don't mean just any spectacle. I'm talking about the engineering, the macroeconomics, the on-pitch tactics, and the absolute sheer hype machine behind the biggest sporting event in human history. Yep, the 2026 FIFA World Cup. We've got a ton of really fascinating ground to cover, so let's just jump right in. All right, let's ground ourselves in the sheer mind-bending scale of what we're actually looking at here. Now, if you're in the US, you probably think of the Super Bowl as the absolute pinnacle of sports broadcasting, right? It pulls in roughly 130 million viewers, it's massive. But as FIFA president Gianni Infantino pointed out, the World Cup doesn't just beat that number, it completely obliterates it. We are talking about a projected 6 billion viewers tuning in at some point over the tournament. That is practically the entire planet sharing one experience. And you know, where you have 6 billion pairs of eyes, you better believe astronomical numbers follow. FIFA is projecting a staggering $8.9 billion in revenue from this tournament alone. In just a 39-day window, this event acts as a spectacular profit machine. They've essentially looked at the incredible monetization playbook of the NFL and just copy-pasted it for a global audience. So, to really understand how an operation of this magnitude actually functions, here's our roadmap for today. We're going to break this down into 4 parts. The most expensive World Cup, the $2 billion smart stadiums, football's youth revolution, and finally, engineering the perfect hype. Let's kick things off with part 1, the most expensive World Cup. I love looking at this because it so brilliantly shows the contrast between eras. Think back to 1994, the last time the US hosted. We had 24 teams, 52 matches, and you could honestly grab a base ticket for about $25. Fast forward to today, it is a totally different universe. We've got an expanded 48-team roster playing a grueling 104 matches. But the wildest shift is the ticketing. FIFA has taken total control and implemented dynamic pricing, exactly like airlines or concert apps use. The result? Standard finals tickets have pushed past $5,000, and on the resale market, one ticket allegedly popped up for $11.5 million. I mean, no way, right? The commercial reality has completely shifted. And that massive revenue jump flows right downstream. The total prize pool has surged 65% since the 2022 tournament in Qatar, hitting $871 million. The winner gets over $50 million. But honestly, the really crucial takeaway here is that even the team that finishes dead last, knocked out in the group stage, still walks away with at least $12.5 million plus a $2.5 million prep fee. To put that into perspective, that kind of capital literally transforms the infrastructure of smaller football federations overnight. All right, moving on to part 2, $2 billion smart stadiums. Okay, trivia time. How many brand new stadiums were built for this massive World Cup? 0. Absolutely none. And that's actually brilliant. We've all seen the controversies in places like Brazil and Qatar, billions spent on these massive white elephant stadiums that just end up as glorified parking lots a year later. This time around, North America leaned hard into adaptive reuse. By taking existing mega venues and giving them massive upgrades, they dodged the insane carbon footprint that comes with pouring thousands of tons of fresh concrete. Economically and environmentally, it's pretty much a masterclass in modern planning. But how exactly do you upgrade these 16 venues? The tech they're injecting is just wild. We're talking real, natural grass, hybrid pitches grown off-site and trucked in to replace artificial turf. Out in California, at SoFi Stadium, they literally had to rip out existing concrete corners and install retractable bleachers just to make the field wide enough to meet FIFA's strict rules. And digitally, telecoms are bracing for 50 terabytes of data per match. So they are wiring these places with dense, private 5G, IoT sensor networks that monitor crowd movement in real time and AI-assisted security. These aren't just sports arenas anymore. They are the smartest buildings on the planet. Which brings us to part 3, and this might be my favorite, football's youth revolution. Look, if you only casually follow the mainstream coverage, you'd probably think this whole tournament is just a giant retirement party for legends like Messi and Ronaldo. But if you talk to the actual scouts and tactical analysts, they will tell you a completely different story. The 2026 World Cup is going to be dominated by a brand new breed of 17 and 18-year-old prodigies. These aren't just kids riding the bench for a good PR story. These teenagers are literally starting in high-stakes Champions League knockout matches today, and they're playing with the kind of tactical maturity you'd expect from a seasoned 28-year-old veteran. Let's look at a few of these names. Brazil has Estevão, a guy who logged over 30 goal involvements before he even turned 18. He brings this cold, clinical edge they really need. Argentina has Nico Paz, who's out there beating veterans in dribbling stats in Italy's Serie A right now. Over in Germany, Lennart Karl is totally redefining the Raumdeuter role. He's basically a tactical space investigator, finding pockets of the pitch no one else sees. And Mexico, one of the host nations, is putting their hopes on Gilberto Mora, an unbelievable 17-year-old generational playmaker. And because that 48-team format really opens up the tactical diversity of the games, these kids are going to have unprecedented space to just totally shine. Finally, that brings us to part 4, engineering the perfect hype. How do they get us so hooked? Well, it all starts with the narrative framing. The marketing for this tournament leans so heavily into that classic David versus Goliath setup. On one side, you've got the terrifying global heavyweights, France, Brazil, Argentina, teams with legacies that just intimidate opponents before they even step on the grass. And on the flip side, you have the home underdog story. Think of the U.S. men's national team trying to pull off a shocker fueled by massive home field energy. Marketers boil everything down to a simple, compelling one-liner to get you emotionally invested instantly, even if you've never watched a soccer match in your life. But having a great story is only half the battle. They need the perfect delivery vehicle. If you actually break down a masterclass World Cup hype video, it's a super calculated playbook designed to grab your attention mathematically. Step 1, super fast-paced visual cuts. Flags, star players, booming colors. Your brain instantly locks the narrative to the visual. Step 2, trending stadium audio. They don't just tell you it's loud. They use audio that makes your speakers literally vibrate so you physically feel the energy. And step 3, the direct call to action. Now here's the absolute secret sauce. When a TikTok or a reel ends by asking for your opinion, they're not just trying to build a cute little community. It is a highly calculated math equation. In the algorithm game, comments equal reach. Demanding your input is proven to boost that content's success. It flips a switch in your brain, transforming you from a passive scroller into an active participant who is now fully bought into the World Cup hype cycle. Which, brilliantly enough, brings us right to the end of our explainer today. We've unpacked the billions of dollars, the genius stadium reuse, the terrifying talent of these new teenagers, and the exact formula they use to get inside our heads. So, in the spirit of that masterful marketing we just deconstructed, I'm going to break the fourth wall and turn that exact same tactic right back onto you. Based on everything we've looked at today, who are you betting on to be crowned the champions of the world in 2026? Drop your prediction in the comments down below, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.